Today we're talking about spare shooting. Spare shooting is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most important aspect of your game. Why? Because, in my opinion, your spare shooting affects your game the most. What do I mean by that? See, not that I'm any kind of philosopher, God forbid. I'm not even a coach yet. But I have this idea of how your spare shooting affects your strike shot or your confidence and ability to generate your best strike shot. How do I put this? English is getting in my way here. I'm trying to say that if you are so confident in your spare game and you get rid of any type of fear of missing a spare, we're obviously talking makeables here, or even easier splits like a 210 or a 3.7 or a baby splits. I mean, not even splits, like a makeable like a 3.610. Who hasn't had troubles with a 3.610? It's probably the most choppable. It's probably the most chopped spare in the history of bowling. These are not statistics that I know. This is just me throwing it out there, because I wouldn't be surprised if the 3.610 is the most chopped spare, where you chop the 3 off the 6 in the history of bowling. Now, it's obviously a less of a problem for some than others, but the 3.610 is probably the most, like, that's what I hear about, even on tour. Like, there are guys that absolutely despise the 3.610, and that's where my point comes in. Guys have probably, they chop the 3.610 all the time. I saw a video that Kyle Troop actually posted the other day. Go check him out. He's working hard to building his YouTube channel, just like I am. So he had a video on a 3.610, or a short rather than a long-term video, where he talked about how he's like tried several different, what would you call it, like ways of sparing the 3.610. And I know I deviated a little bit here, but bear with me. So he's tried different approaches to sparing the 3.610. He's tried throwing it across the lane, straight at it, going all the way to the right, straight at it. And I think he landed on, like, the way he's sparing the 3.610 right now is never giving up the 3.6 pocket, as he called it, which I think is a pretty solid way of sparing it. It obviously, if your spare ball hooks, it obviously, you have to miss it, not a lot, but you have to miss it by, like, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 boards to, like, give the ball a chance to chop it. You can obviously chop the 6 off the 10, but that's harder if you just, it's enough for you to just slightly hit the 3-pin for the ball to bounce enough to take out the 10 as well. So I think that gives him the largest margin of error. So, is it largest margin? I think that's how you say it. But anyways, what I was saying was, if you get your spare shooting like down to a T, like, let's just start with the corner pins. If you leave a 10 pin, you should be able to turn around You know exactly what ball you're getting. You know exactly where you're standing on the approach. It does not matter what oil pattern's on, unless you hook on it, which, you know, I can get to that later, but I wouldn't. I feel better throwing my spare shots straight, but, you know, I can get to that later. But if you get that down to a T, where there's not even a shadow of a doubt in your mind that you are going, like, you are not missing this spare, regardless. It does not matter. You're going to the ball rack. You're going back to the ball rack, to the ball return. You're going to pick up your spare ball, or the ball that you spare the 10-pin or 7-pin with. You going up there, throwing it at it, going down, resetting everything, and going into the next frame. Doesn't matter. It's done. Spare. Great. Let's go. Here's the reason I'm making this video. God, my nose is ticklish. Bear with me. This is where it gets interesting. And I've been in this situation, and I'm still sometimes in this situation. You go up and imagine being afraid of leaving the 10-pin or even missing it before you even take your first shot. That decreases your chances of striking significantly. I can't even throw a number up there because I don't, you know, I haven't done the math. I haven't done the statistics. These are mental, you know. If you are afraid of leaving a 10-pin or a 7-pin or whatever, and even you're even letting your mind go as far as to, if I'm leaving a 10-pin, I might miss it. Before you make your first shot, your strike shot, you are absolutely fucked from the get-go. There is you have no shot, buddy. Like, there is no shot that you are, like, no shot. So that's my theory. Like I'm a fucking Einstein reinventing the wheel here, which I'm not. There's probably a ton of people who's said this already, but it was like kind of not a breakthrough, but like my spare game it just became so much easier to put down the time into spare shooting when you thought of it that way. And it just makes it so much easier. You're gonna play a game where you leave like 5 or 6 10-pins and you just can't figure it out, and you'll walk away with a 190 or 2-0 game if you're able to string a couple of strikes in that same game. But that's better than 150, 160, hell, 140. If you just make all those single pins because you're not afraid of missing them, you're not afraid of missing the single pins, you're gonna make them. You're going to make them. And the more you make, the better you get. So it's a win-win situation. It's frustrating, but all you need is just, hey, the pair didn't offer more than this. You take your spares. Maybe you're lucky, get 2 or 3 strikes in there, and we're dancing. We move to the next pair, and we start again. Maybe it's a better pair. We get more strikes. Maybe we'll leave 1 or 2 single pins. We spare those single pins. 230. Maybe even 240. Hell, let's give us 250. That's 50 over. Depending on if you made 190 or 2-0 in the last game. But you get my point. Practice spares until you're not afraid of leaving them. So, yeah, that's, back to the 3-6-10. That's 100% my, I still get, when I leave the 3-6-10, ball comes high, and chops the 1 off the 3, takes everything out, but the 3-6-10, you stand there and you're like, God damn it, I'm gonna chop this. Or, whatever, you're gonna just, take the 3-6, or gonna miss the 3-pin and take the 610, and you know, everything just comes into mind, you know, which again, you're absolutely cooked. 0% chance of making it, unless you're lucky, obviously. So I've talked about my spare shooting. I've talked about my spare shooting tactic, or how I spare my spares in YouTube or previous Instagram posts and in my spare shooting guides. Link in bio. Where I aim at the fourth arrow and I just chuck it through. I line up, I make a straight line from where I want to hit the pins down to the fourth arrow and keep going. The straight line keeps going into the approach, and that's where I'm standing. Walk towards my target, chuck the ball over the fourth arrow, and fucking hope for the best. At least on the 3.610. Obviously, I create the line into the 3.6 pocket. So, again, I'm not throwing it, like, I'm throwing it across instead of, like, into, like, the straight at the 3.6 pocket, like Kyle does. But I'm throwing it, like, straight across into, like, the 3.6 and take out the 10. I figured I got a bigger luck factor if I miss, couple left, couple right. Obviously if I miss a couple right, I'm fucked. I'll never hit the 3, but I have more miss to the left. That's what I'm trying to say, is that, like, I can chuck it into the 3-pin. You know, if I miss left, I get lucky, chuck it into the 3-pin, 3-pin takes out the 6, and 6 takes the 10, or, you know, just creates a bigger luck factor. Obviously, you don't want to rely on luck or some luck factor, but that's just how I feel like I convert the 3.610 the most. That's what I'm trying to. I've also tried a couple of things. I've tried stand to the right, just rolling it up there and hitting the 3.6 like Kyle does. I feel like I chop it more than when I throw like that, but yeah, like, to each his own, man. Like, just it. At the end of the day, spares are just, you know, you got the old system 3.6.9, I think, you know, what we were taught. I can't really remember how it works, but I guess you move 3 boards when you leave such and such pin, 6 boards, such and such pin, and 9 ultimately for the 7 or 9 or 10 pin, with whichever hand you're using. But I never really liked that, because I like to just chuck my spare ball or urethane ball at the single pins or whatever I leave. Unless it's the 2.8, I usually hook it into the 2.8. I know EJ Tackett chucks it at everything. I think he even chucks it at the 2.8 or the 3.9, which is absolutely insane. That's, like, the man he doesn't miss it. He just chucks it at it, makes it every time. Chucking a bowling ball at the 2.8 straight is just, like, I'm terrified every time of, like, just, you know, missing it to the left, just the 2-pin, or even missing it to the right, and, like, throwing the 2-pin to the left of the fucking 8-pin, and, you know, but that just comes down to repetition in practice. Like, if that's how you, like, if you throw 1,000 of, like, if you spray it that way 1,000 times in practice, you're golden. You're not gonna miss it. Hopefully not. you're gonna hopefully you're not ever gonna miss it. But you know, God, I love these YouTube videos. Just rambling on, try to teach you guys something. 26 of you in here. I appreciate every single one of you. I hope I'm doing some good. Apparently, there's some words on Facebook that I got outdated information. That's okay. I'm not a coach. I'm just trying to teach you guys what I've learned over the years, and hopefully some of you can use this information to get better, and that's all I can do. Not a coach yet. Probably one day I'll take those courses and, you know, I guess get updated on what we're teaching people. But this is what I learned. This is what I am learning, and everything I say to you guys is what I'm using to get better. I am not perfect. I have not had half of the success that I want to accomplish in my career. I'm not even close. I want a PBA title. I gotta be better. I gotta be better to put down the work, and, you know, got real fucking motivated now. There's excuse me, comedy on Facebook. Who knew? Who knew I needed to read that? It's fucking motivation. I like these videos. I like recording these videos and putting them just completely raw on YouTube. Kind of Sam Sulek style. Just talking, rambling on. And hope that somebody, you know, gets something out of them, and maybe I say something that somebody likes and they can use it, and maybe not. I'm just here to help. I'm just here to help, man. Hey, not gonna keep this too long. I've already just rumbled on for, I don't know, 15 minutes. I don't know how long this has gone, but maybe not even that. But anyways, guys, I would appreciate it if you guys who watch this, if you could comment in the comment section what you want me to talk about in these videos, because I'm just here in the car talking about anything bowling, man. Anything. I'll talk about anything that has to do with bowling. If you comment down below, we can talk about it. I can talk about it. And if you can do me a favor, like it, subscribe to the channel so that you're always notified when I post these type of videos, because you never know if I talk about anything that you specifically need to hear or want to hear. So, like I said, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the fucking next one. Keep bowling and bowl smart, guys. See you in the next one.